Marhaba, and hello once again to our brothers and sisters around the world. This is Jack Dempsey, American historian and writer, living in Crete today, and I'm here with my best friend Mohammed Jihad Ismael, who lives in Deir al-Balah in Gaza with his beautiful young family. We've come to know each other over a couple of years, and we agree that the Palestinian situation must change and that we could perhaps do something to stimulate the ongoing conversation by reporting on different topics and events in Gaza every week or 2 weeks or so. Gaza, as you may know, has been a locked and closed prison for 2.5 million people, half of whom were children, for the last 15 years. It's been a refugee camp for Palestinian people for 75 years, including those members of Muhammad's own family who were driven at gunpoint from their original village, where they lived in peace with many Jewish, Arab, and other people, and they were driven into Gaza, and they've been trying to survive life there ever since. Now, if you want a quick idea of what their challenges are from week to day to month to year in, year out, well, imagine that you're living someplace and it's a bombed out ruin, more or less. You have only maybe 8 hours of electricity a day to try to communicate, perhaps, with the outside world through the only electronic means that make that possible. You're not even allowed to receive books and mail. Okay. If you're thirsty, I'm sorry, there's no clean water. You're going to have to boil it, you're going to have to treat it with chemicals, or you're going to have to buy it. And since over 50% of the Palestinian people in Gaza are virtually unemployed, that's going to be a challenge. Maybe you're hungry. Well, you should know before you go out the door to hunt down today's food for yourself and your family that there's about 12,000 people ahead of you in line who are expected to be fed daily off of one supply truck. This is impossible, of course, so we can see very transparently that Israel has Gaza's people on a starvation and malnutrition diet. If you are able to pay, you might be able to bribe some good food out of Hamas or the oligarchs. There is just almost nothing you can do about it. And this is especially true when crises such as the need for a hospital visit or medicines come up. Gaza's population is far, far less immunized against COVID than the Israeli population, which is immunized 100%, and you are going to need money. This in the middle of a year, which is a record year for the killing of Palestinians, for the dispossession of Palestinians, and it's going to get worse with the new highly conservative government of Benjamin Netanyahu, yes, yet again, coming into power. So, where is hope? To wind up this introduction, where is hope for a person like yourself or Muhammad in that real situation? Well, it's certainly not from Israel, who sees no reason to negotiate in good faith with these people. It's not going to come from, quote, your government called Hamas or the Palestinian Authority, who are completely unsupervised in their distribution of foreign aid funds which come to them. And neither of them, the money nor those governments, do anything palpable for the Palestinian people. It's certainly not going to come from other Arab countries who, one by one, are selling out for business reasons to the Israeli impetus. And it's certainly not going to come from the United States, who has been telling people, well, don't expect any big change. We don't see any reason for that, I imagine. So maybe their only hope is you and me and Muhammad and the ordinary people of the world who can work together to demand these changes that they need to see happen. So we always begin our discussions with a simple suggestion: contact your own government, no matter where you live, and demand that they change their policies toward the Palestinian people to see them as absolutely equal human beings with the people of Ukraine, who deserve their own self determination, as we are told over and over again in world forums. Secondly, Muhammad and I have created a thing called Family to Family, where instead of sending your money to government relief organizations, and that means usually big banks who take a big chunk of what you'd like to send, we are creating this thing called Family to Family, where Mohammed, as our agent, you might say, in Gaza, would be able to introduce you to, well, any number of Palestinian people who are desperate for all the different kinds of human needs that I've just described to you. Please don't be afraid of this process. Please don't let stereotypes rule your consideration of it. This is the most direct way that you can, well, A, make very good friendships, as I have done with Muhammad. We consider ourselves family. And B, your money goes directly, all of it directly to them. So that you, as you keep in touch as we do with Zoom, it's very simple and free, you can see the direct results of your support for these wonderful people. If you want to know more, please look at the see more or more info here at YouTube and also at my writer's blog, which is jpd37 at wordpress.com. jpd37 at wordpress.com. So, Mohammed, welcome once again. I'd like you to just let us know how it's going over there. My wife and I have been fortunate enough to be able to help Muhammad's family to expand their living situation from a single room for 5 people to revamping the upper floor of the house that they're in so that there are 3 new rooms as well as kitchen and bathroom improvements. And Mohammed, how is all that work going for you? We publish photos at the writer's blog that I mentioned, and I gave the wrong address, by the way. It's Jack Dempsey Writer at WordPress.com. Jack Dempsey Writer at WordPress.com. And there you can see photographs of his beautiful family and the work that we're doing together to improve their standards of living. Mohammed, forgive me for babbling on like that, but I think it's all essential information. And I just want to know, how are you doing this week? And how's the work going on the house? And anything else you'd like to share?
Thank you, brother, for this new opportunity. I am so happy to be with you again and to speak to our friends, our brothers and sisters from all over the world. Uh, in fact, these days we have sunny weather. After very, very stormy days, we had floods, we have storms, very, very bad weather. And the Israeli authorities in the southern districts used to open the dams on Gaza in a random way, and suddenly here we have thousands of dunums of lands were sunk under the Israeli water and mud, which come in a very, very big amounts from the Israeli dams, especially the dams on the Besur Brook. We call it Besur Brook as a biblical name, and we call it Gaza Valley in the modern geography terms.
Mm-hmm. And this was
And here,
a 4-day massive rainstorm, which swelled up the little rivers and streams, ran down the mountains of Hebron and from Jerusalem. And the dams, which were built under French supervision during the Nasser years in Israel, were opened up to relieve the excess, and it just gushed down the very flat land toward the sea and spread mud and floodwaters all through southern Gaza. So you said that there was one elderly woman who died, 2 men, and a child who were killed
yeah,
in
in
the
total,
flood aftermath of this.
yeah, yes, brother. In total, we have 4 victims passed away as a result of this catastrophic weather. Uh, as you just mentioned, one old woman, 2 men, and one child. I think he is 4 years old. And of course, beside that, we have thousands of people who became homeless. Uh, their houses were destroyed, whether totally or partially. So the catastrophe was very, very disastrous, and I cannot describe you what happened in this aftermath. For me, for my house and our expansion, we are achieving good progress despite of the bad weather. We almost finished painting. People are invited to see in the coming days new photos on your WordPress
Yep.
website. We are going to show them the progress after finishing the paintings. Also, within very few days, maybe 3 or 4 days, we are going to show them the photos of the windows and doors after we install them in the house. I can say that the work is achieving very, very good progress. So I invite all the people to see this progress through photos and through reports on your WordPress website.
Yes, and in the pictures, you can see the house in its entirety. They live in the first floor, a single room, and on the third floor of this building, there are three just empty shells where there should be rooms, but they were never finished or furnished, etc. So Muhammad has laid beautiful tile floor into the rooms. They have spackled and painted. They are, as he just said, going to install aluminum window frames there very soon when the walls dry out from the heavy rains that happen. They're going to install electricity up there. And for his two beautiful little toddler daughters and his handsome 6-year-old young son, Jojo, these are going to be very comfortable rooms where they can have a place to do their studies, to make their education go forward, and to live more comfortably like human beings. That's all it's about. Now, with Israel opening the dams, maybe in a sense even flushing its toilet on the Gazan people, you can see the daily cruelty that their weakness and their fear inflicts on the Palestinian people. Even going back to the Bible, the first time they look over the hills to see into the quote promised land, which is already thickly inhabited, they say explicitly, we are going to conquer these people, we are going to remove them, we are going to erase their very names from this land. And that is a task or an agenda that is unrelenting to this day. But I want to introduce again my friend Muhammad as a writer and historian who resists that. With his everyday of work, his writing, his gathering of the traditions and the history of the Gazan and Palestinian people, fights against that to preserve their legacy, to preserve their memory, and to defend it actively. His most recent book is called Fedayee and the Sea, and it's the stories of refugees who fled from different parts of Palestine by sea. For a change, Muhammad's own family walked to Gaza, and his grandfather was born by the side of the road without any hospital or medical help whatsoever. But his book is about people who fled by sea from Israel's wars of 1948 and 1967. So, Muhammad, anything you'd like to say? Show us, lift up the book for us, hold it up close to the camera so people can see the cover. Fedayee and the Sea. And
Yeah, this is
if anyone in our audience knows somebody who speaks both Arabic and English, as I do not, Mohammed would be more than happy to collaborate on a translation of this wonderful book into English. He's going to share some of the stories from it with us today. And my own book cover, this is the book that got Muhammad and I together as friends originally, shows a vase from ancient Ekron, about 50 kilometers inland. And it shows a series of islands connected or interconnected by spirals, which are a symbol of life in many civilizations. And it shows that this is a journey by sea that the Pulisati, or the eventually known Philistines, made in order to come from the Greek islands to Palestine. And that's where Palestine, the name of the place, began. So the connections there are very ancient. Muhammad, anything you'd like to share about the new work? First of all, I saw that you were treated like a very good rock star celebrity there in Gaza about a week ago. You had an opening for your book. It was well attended and it sold very well, and people were very interested in what you had to say.
Yes, brother. In fact, Fedayee and the Sea is achieving very, very good progress and very good success here in Gaza. So many radio stations used to invite me to make a presentation for the book.
Ah,
Yeah, they used to ask me questions, make some conversations with me
mm-hmm,
about this remarkable theme. In fact, the theme of the book is very remarkable and something unique, something new. Uh, most of them are informing me that you are bringing something new, something fresh. No one used to speak about this issue before that. Uh,
mm,
so this book is something new and presenting and documenting something new. Uh, as you just mentioned, my book is speaking about some testimonies, some stories for the Palestinian refugees who used to take the naval route to escape or to flee out of Palestine, whether in the catastrophe of 1948 or in the crisis of the 6 Days War in 1967.
mm-hmm.
I want to inform people that now, currently, in this moment, we have half a million refugees in a very, very remote country called Chile in Southern America. Now
Wow.
we have half a million. It's a very, very large community. The Palestinian community in Chile is very, very large and very, very big. Now, those people, 90% of them are Christians, are Palestinians who are Christians.
Mm-hmm.
All of them used to flee, used to escape to Chile through the naval route, through Mediterranean, and after that, whether from Spain or from Lisbon
Yes.
in Portugal, they used to take the ships and to go by
And
the
that
Atlantic
that 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 happened because Chile opened their diplomatic doors to the Palestinians. They said, "Okay, it's okay with our government if you want to come here to get away from the invasions of the Israeli army," right?
exactly. In this book, I spoke about the testimony for one of those people who used to immigrate to Chile. He described his route through the Mediterranean. He went from Greece, the mainland. I think I think he moved from a port called Piraeus, something like that.
Yes,
He
Piraeus,
went
that's the
from
port of
here.
Athens.
Exactly, brother. He went from Joppa in Palestine. He
Mhm.
took a ship to Piraeus, and after that, he took another ship from Piraeus to Genova in Italy.
So this
And
is a this
from
is a young
Genova,
man. Was he alone or did he have a family with him?
he was a single. He was a single, not married yet.
Ah,
And he used to flee with some friends. They were a group of friends. Their age, their ages were like between 18 to 12, 18 to 20 years
yeah.
only. After Genova, he moved by land from Genova and Turin through southern France and Spain. He moved by land to Lisbon.
Wow.
After working some months in Lisbon, he collected an amount of money which qualified him to make a long journey trans the Atlantic to Brazil, and from Brazil he moved finally to Valparaiso. Valparaiso is the second city in Chile after
Let,
the capital Santiago.
let me ask you now about, do you have an idea of how many Palestinians actually left their homes in Palestine and took to the sea like this and went to Chile? Because if they are 500,000 now, it's been what, 50, 75 years since those terrible times. So give us an idea of how fast they are growing as a community and a population. How many Palestinians originally left Palestine to go to other countries?
Yeah, in fact, I haven't the exact numbers. I have some estimations. Uh, we have between 150,000 to 170,000.
Hmm.
The estimations of immigrants who used to take the naval route to abandon Palestine by sea. Yeah.
Yes, and now, my Italian grandmother came from Naples in Italy and came to America around 1900 or so. And we've all seen photographs of people when they are refugees that they have a basket or a box or a shoulder bag, or they are carrying everything that they can possibly take with them, and yet they have such a long journey. So the people that you've talked with for the research in this book, Muhammad, they must have tremendous memories of their struggle to survive. Is that what connects many of the stories together?
Yes, yes, of course, brother. All over the world, always you have so many similarities between all the stories of refugees who used to take the ships and take the boats to flee by the naval route. You can find the same stories in Africa, in Italy, as I told you before some months ago,
Mhm.
here in Nuseirat camp, just between Bala and Gaza City, in the year 1942, we received hundreds of Greek people who abandoned Greece, whether the Aegean islands
When
in
the
Greece
Germans
or
were when the Germans were occupying Greece, yes.
yeah, exactly. When the Nazi Germans used to invade Greece, they used to escape. Some of them went to Egypt, and others went to Syria, to Lebanon, and others came here to Gaza, exactly in the area of Nuseirat. They were
Mhm.
hundreds, and in their number.
So they
So
were they were
if you
excuse me.
compare, yeah, if you compare their testimonies with the testimonies of our Palestinian refugees who escaped by sea, you will find very big similarities between the two experiences. So it's a very amazing matter for me to study deeply in this issue.
And you created this book, Muhammad, by just to understand your research. You were talking directly with people and asking for their memories. Did they show you photographs? Did they tell you family stories? Did you also consult books, history books? Was there anything about these people? What were your sources of information?
Yeah. Uh, in fact, uh, primarily, first of all, the biggest amount of my information, of my material, was collected from the live testimonies. I used to take them from the old people. Some of them are in their 80s, some of them
Mhm.
in their 90s.
Yeah.
They are very old in age. I used to visit them. I used to document their testimonies by voice through my mobile, my personal mobile. After that, I used to write down what I recorded with them. So most of the material was collected from people who used to whether live the experience by themselves or used to listen the experience from their fathers and mothers.
Yes, yes. Now, Muhammad, let me
Yeah.
ask you. I know the book is filled with quite amazing stories of human survival that are filled with sympathetic, real people who are going through these things. What to you is one of the most interesting stories that your book tells? Can you give an idea quickly about one of the most interesting episodes of these migrations?
Yes, brother. Just to remind you and to remind our friends, I want to remind them briefly with a very interesting story, which was the story of the Greek captain Simon Papalazaro, who came by his ship uh, to uh, to uh, to save some Palestinians, to save their souls. He came to carry hundreds or thousands of them. When he was close to the coast of Joppa, the Israeli navy used to hit his ship, and the
With
ship
gunfire.
was sunk. Yeah, they used to shield him by cannon, and he was killed, and his crew was a mix between Greek and Cypriot people. I think in their total number, I think they are six. In addition to Papalazaro, the seventh, all of them passed away, and all the ship was sunk in the Mediterranean.
And,
Just 2 miles, just 2 miles or 3 miles off the shore of Joppa. Yeah.
one wonders why the Israelis were in the process of making the Palestinian people leave their land, their farms, their villages. Get out. You are finished. There is no more future for you here. So if they obey and they get on a ship to go God knows where, why would the Israelis attack them as they are running away?
Unfortunately, the pioneers of the Jewish state in its cradle in the late 40s and in the beginning of the 50s, they used to make some mass massacres against the Palestinian refugees, even during their escape. Not only in the naval route. In the naval route, they used to sink too much ships and boats, whether were empty or were loaded with Palestinian families. We have too much Palestinian families were killed and were drowned in the foiled in the sea. Besides the naval route, I have to remind you with the testimony of my grandmother. Grandmother told me when they used to escape from Shafir on their feet and on their animals, their donkeys, their horses. You know, in that time, the Palestinian people, especially the villagers, the people of villages, they were poor and simple. They hadn't the vehicles, the cars. Their movement was only by foot or on the horses and donkeys.
Yes,
She told me when we were moving out of Shafir, walking on our feet and moving on the backs of our horses and donkeys, the French airplanes from the type of Mystère, they used to fly low, very low, maybe 100, 200 meters only
yep,
from the land, and they used to throw the bombs on the heads of the people. She told me I saw a pilot for one of those aeroplanes. He was looking to us with anger, with very horrifying look. He was looking to us, and he was throwing over our heads his bombs. So we have thousands of people also were killed during their immigration by land, by the land route, like what happened with my
Of
ancestors
course, and on the sea as
during.
well.
Yes, brother. So I think it's a very, very bad behavior from the Israeli army that in that time to kill people, to kill civilians, not armed people,
Who are running
civilian people,
away.
families, yeah, to kill them in their way of escape, in their way of escape. They are leaving their land.
Yes,
What
yes,
you need more? What you need more? They are
yes,
going to diaspora. Why you
yes.
kill them? Why you follow them in their road and you insist to kill them?
I imagine, Muhammad, that in your book too, there are stories of people who tell about hope, who tell about possibility that if we stay alive, somehow our situation will improve. Is there a story from a person or a family in the book that would give Palestinians, as well as the rest of the world, hope for the future of the Palestinian people? You said there was a very good reception for your book, and I wonder how people responded to. There seems to me there has to be, because I know you, there has to be a note of hope in there. Is there any story that lifts you up when you think about it, gives you courage?
Of course, brother. All the theme of the book gives me power and give me courage to write more and more, to document more and more. In fact, I hope if I can have some sponsors, some people to help me just to print my books, to collect my materials. You know, every
Mm,
book uh, to build it, to prepare it, you have to make a very, very hard job. You have to collect its scientific material. So it's not an easy matter. I hope if my people can help me more because I have many, many goals in my life in my coming years to document all those forgotten tragedies for my
yes.
people. I hope also to collect some testimonies from the old men and women before they die. Let
And
me, brother,
is there a story in the book now? Is there a story in the book now that you like to think about that gives you courage? What was that story like? Who was it?
yeah. In fact, I have the story. I have a story for the fishermen. So many fishermen, a group of fishermen,
Huh?
were fishing just very close to the port of Gaza, Mina or Mioma, Mina. You know its name Mina, and Mina is derived from the Minoans of Crete. Uh, they were fishing just very close to Mina, Mina of Gaza, and uh, they told me that they found a dead body of a baby, of a child. When they found this dead body of the child, they found a small piece of paper inside his jacket. In this paper, they found a very brief message from the child's mother. She document the moment of her death. She wrote in a very rapid way, I am going to die. We are inside the blue, inside the sea, and I am carrying my child in my hand. I cannot move my other hand. I am going to die. And she used to put this piece of paper inside the jacket of her baby. So after some moments, she and her baby, both of them passed away. Uh, she wrote his name, her name, and her son's name. Those fishermen told me, we took this dead body of the child, we put him, we make a burial for him, we put him in a grave, and after that, we used to name our firstborn babies with the name of this child. His name in Arabic is Khalid. Khalid in Arabic language means immortal, eternal. So all of us, we used to give this name to our firstborn babies. We called our firstborn babies Khalid, just to immortalize
Yes.
the name of this baby, which we find his dead body in the sea while we were collecting our nets. Before I forget, I used to mix and to link between the Palestinian refugees who escaped by sea. I used to link between them and the experience of Robinson Crusoe. Robinson Crusoe, the famous novel of Daniel Defoe, the English novelist.
Right.
Yeah, and in this novel, Robinson Crusoe, when he stranded on a deserted island after his shipwreck, he told the audience in the narrative of the novel, now I have on this island my coat, my bag of golden coins, my hat, etc. No, now I have now this time I am starving. I need something to eat, a loaf of bread, a piece of fruit, etc. Now all of this bag of money, all of this bag of golden coins is worthless because I am here on deserted island. So
and
now I can
many of the Palestinians found themselves in the same situation, right?
exactly, exactly, brother.
Yeah.
So I used to link between this paragraph, which was narrated by Robinson Crusoe when he reached the deserted island, and I used to link it with the destiny of thousands of Palestinians who reached remote areas and faced the same destiny of Robinson.
Well, Mohammed, our time is going. There's so much I want to know more about. I want to know more about the Palestinian communities in Chile, how they have grown and prospered. I want to know more about the stories in the book that have never been told before. But again, our time is going for today. So we will pick this up in our next program and continue to talk about this as well as the archaeology of ancient Gaza and how that is or is not surviving under the onslaught of the Israeli forces today. Mohammed, thank you so much once again for talking with us. And I know everybody will write your own government to demand change and consider and look into at jackdempseywordpress.com, Jack Dempsey Writer at wordpress.com, how to get involved with family to family so that you can directly help these people. Mohammed, thank you once again, my brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.